Hello, it's Thomas George and welcome to this class. So this class is for anyone that wants to create their own videos as a one-person team. So we're going to be looking at stuff like microphones, editing audio, videos, lighting, editing video, and also presentation skills. So if you want to create your own videos as a one-person team, make sure you check out this course and I'll show you some of the stuff that I use right now to create this shot. So thank you for watching and I'll see you in the first lecture. Hi and welcome to this lecture. So before we get into all the technical things like recording audio, video and editing, I want to tell you about the most important thing when actually recording video and audio. So if you're creating any video of any kind, the most important thing is content. It doesn't matter how good your video is, how high quality your audio is. It's all about your content. If the content's rubbish, if it's not very good at all, if you don't make sense, if you're not an expert in what you're talking about, or if it's not entertaining, if it's really boring and dull, your video and your audio quality is completely irrelevant. You could even film on an iPhone and have a really good storyline, and that'd be so much better than having a big Hollywood team filming you with all different shotgun microphones. If your content is rubbish, you need to have a good quality storyline or tutorial or be entertaining. So that's the thing I'd like to say first. If I was going to do a tutorial about jewelry or dancing, for example, two things I don't really know much about and I'm not that passionate about, they'd be awful. The video would be terrible. It doesn't matter about the lighting, it doesn't matter about the microphone. It's all about what you're confident talking about and what you actually enjoy and are passionate with. And that will come through when you speak. That will come through with your body language. For example, my area of expertise is music production and audio engineering. This is what I enjoy doing. This is what I think I'm good at. And this is what I can spend hours upon end talking about. So when I talk about compression or delay or reverb or microphones or editing audio, it sounds interesting because I'm passionate about it. I know what I'm talking about most of the time. But if I had to talk about jewelry, it'd be a really bad video. I might have the same lighting, I'd be using the same microphone, the editing would be very similar. But when I talk about jewelry, I don't really know anything about it. I'm not passionate about it. I don't wear any jewelry. I don't know about it. So really, really think about what your video is about and why do you want to create this. If you want to create it for fun, make sure it's entertaining. Make sure the way you speak is engaging. If you want to create a tutorial, make sure you create a very informative tutorial that people can follow along. So for videos, it either has to be instructional or knowledgeable, so some kind of knowledge-based learning, or it has to be entertaining. But the best thing you want is both. You really want someone to enjoy what you're doing, to entertain them whilst teaching them something new. If you could do this, if you can make a knowledge-based, entertaining video and make good quality audio and video, then you've got a winner. That's what it's about. Those things that are high quality video, high quality audio, but more importantly, content to make it entertaining and if you can, knowledge-based as well. And then people will watch your videos. What's the point of having perfect lighting and perfect audio if the content's rubbish? Like I was saying before, me making a video about jewelry would be so bad, even if the lighting, the video, the audio, the editing was the same. So just do what you're passionate about and that passion will come through on the camera and it'll come through on your voice and your body language, and make sure you know what you're talking about. If you don't know what you're talking about, you'll be seen as a fraud and people will just automatically think this person is not an authority figure in this field. They don't know what they're talking about. I'm not wasting my time with this video. Time is one of the most precious things we have in our life. We don't want to waste it. So why would I or someone else waste my time or their time on watching something that's useless, pointless, not entertaining? I'm not going to learn anything from them. Why would they? So really, make sure you create a video that has a great storyline or will really allow the listener or the audience member to learn something from your videos. Okay, so when presenting a video or a podcast, really you want to engage the audience member. You don't want to be boring and dull and monotonal when you speak. You want to have energy and passion behind you. And the easiest way to do this is to talk about something you're passionate about. If you're doing a video about stamp collections, for example, it might not be a passion of yours and it might be quite a boring video. But if you're talking about, I don't know, scuba diving or rock climbing, whatever you're passionate about, you'll have a lot more energy and enthusiasm when you speak. Also, when you're talking to a camera, it's important to look directly into the camera. If your eyes are dotting around, you won't really engage with the audience and they'll think you're not knowing what you're talking about because you're not confident, you're looking around. When talking to people in real life, you don't want to look them in the eye all the time because it can be a bit intimidating. But when you're talking to a camera, it's a good idea to look right in the lens, look right bang in the middle of the camera. It doesn't look weird or strange. It just looks like you're having a conversation with the person on the screen. And the other thing I would say is don't use a script. Right now, I'm not using a script. There's no notes. There's a laptop in front of me recording the audio. And there's no script. I have used in the past a teleprompter, which I do not recommend. It just takes so long to put together. And when you read it, because the lines go through at a certain pace, there's no like natural rhythm or energy in your speaking. You're just following the teleprompter. What I have done as well is I've written out notes on a corkboard, some bullet points of the key subjects for my voiceovers or my screencasts, and I've gone between each bullet point and riffed and improvised between each one. This can be effective, but now I think it's even better to try and memorize the key points and then just speak. If it's something you're passionate about and something you're knowledgeable about, you won't need a script, you won't need bullet points, you can just talk. Of course, you have to learn to be present in the moments and just relax and just talk. I have done a lot of videos in the past and it's something that I have constantly been working on. But first, you might not get this. You might be stumbling, A lot of people have comfort words when they speak, but you just want to put your content out there. And if possible, do it all in one take. If you'll notice, there's no sharp cuts, there's no edits when I talk. These videos are all in one take. They weren't like that originally. Originally, I'd chop between them and I'd spend hours upon end editing one small video. Now I'll make sure I get high quality audio, high quality video, high quality lighting, then I just talk. The rest of it, it's just all put together after. Stuff like editing, I save a lot of presets to save loads of time, because even if you make a couple of mistakes, your audience will forgive you. Even if it's not perfect, it doesn't matter as long as you don't say something really offensive or completely wrong or false information. It's fine. But if you know your subject and you're passionate, you shouldn't really be doing this. You should know what you're talking about before you even start the video. And that way, editing's pretty much sorted. Stuff like zooms, you can do in real time on your mouse if you're doing a screencast. As long as you have your saved presets for your video editing and your audio editing, you can just drag it on, put it in time and export. Once you know what you're doing and you've got a good setup and you're confident in speaking, you can make videos really quickly and really easy. So thank you for watching this lecture. It's all about presentation skills. And in my opinion, how editing can be dramatically cut down just by being comfortable when you speak. And if possible, doing it all in one take. Okay, so if you're filming any kind of video, voiceover, podcast, you will need a microphone. You do get microphones built in on your computer and built in on your DSLR, but generally they're really bad and you will want an external microphone similar to this one. This is a dynamic microphone. It's quite durable and it picks up sound quite close up. So if there's a lot of background sound, it won't pick it up as much as if you use a condenser microphone. It might pick up more sound, more sensitive, they are more expensive. And if you use an omnidirectional microphone, it will pick up the whole room, which might be great if you're recording a band or you're at a conference or something, you want to hear a speaker from a distance. But I recommend getting a dynamic microphone like this one. This one is called the Electro Voice RE20. It's kind of a typical podcast voiceover microphone. And I just think it suits my voice. Another popular one is the Shure SM7B. This one's great for voiceovers and radio as well. You do get lav mics, those little clip-on mics. They're pretty good, but these sound a lot better. These are a lot easier to plug into external effects than the lav kind of wireless mics. You can get that Rode shotgun mic that everyone seems to have on top of a DSLR, which is okay if you're out and about and you want to create a vlog, so you're walking around, there's no wires. That's good if you just want a quick mic to bang on top of your camera. But if you want to produce something that's high quality, that'll stand you out from the crowd, I recommend getting a professional level microphone. So this one I said is the Electro Voice RE20. There's many others on the market. You can get USB microphones, stuff like the Blue Yeti, the Snowball. But in my experience, in my opinion, if you plug into an audio interface, so it's a box that you can plug a microphone into that converts this analog audio into a digital signal, you can record this in your computer and it'd be a lot higher quality than just going straight in with a USB. Maybe in the future, USB microphones might sound a lot better, but right now I do believe the XLR style microphones, so you have the 3-pin cable, sound infinitely better. You will need something called an audio interface to use a microphone like this. Like I said, it's basically a box that converts analog audio signal into a digital signal, so you can record it in your computer. So you can use a digital audio workstation like GarageBand, Logic Pro 10, Adobe Audition, Camtasia, some kind of recording device basically to record the audio. And then you can go in and edit this audio afterwards. What I actually do with my setup is I go into something called a preamp, which is basically an amplifier, so you can make the microphone louder, because this mic isn't the loudest even with an audio interface. So as preamp, you can make the mic louder and add certain effects. So the one I'm using is the DBX286S, and you can add effects like gain, so you can make it louder, compression, which makes the loud a lot quieter. So if you speak really loud, it won't distort. You can speak as loud as you want. And if you speak really quiet, it will boost the volume. There's also something called a de-esser, which sorts out the sibilance. So all the harsh S sounds, it won't make it as horrible and disgusting. And then we have something called an enhancer, which is similar to an equalizer. It allows you to kind of boost the bass, boost the treble, just get a nice quality sound. And then there's also something called a noise gate, which allows you to cut out a lot of the background sound and just isolate where your voice is. So if you've got a lot of fan noise from your computer or you're in a noisy environment, it can cut all of that out. I personally also like to edit the vocals and the audio after all this. So I go through this preamp, I go into the audio interface, and then I go into a digital audio workstation, which we're going to look at soon enough. And then I edit the audio in there also. So if you want high quality professional audio, this is what you've got to do. You've got to get the best quality sound you can get before it goes into your computer. So let's do a quick recap. So I've got my Electro Voice RE20 microphone. This is the one I like. Then it goes into my preamp, which has built-in effects, and it boosts the microphone, makes it louder, it compresses it, sorts out the S sounds, the enhancer to make it sound nicer, and the noise gate, which I don't actually use on this, but if you do want to use the noise gate, you can cut out some background sound, and then that goes into the audio interface, which converts this analog audio signal into a digital signal. Then you plug it into your laptop or computer, where you can edit this in a digital audio workstation. We're going to be looking at digital audio workstations soon, but you can also record the microphone in screen capture software. So this is like Camtasia or ScreenFlow. This allows you to record the screen of your computer and a microphone. So if you want to do any videos that records the screen, if you're doing a tutorial about, say, Photoshop, After Effects, that kind of thing, you could be speaking into the microphone and this will sync up to the screen. So if you say something like you click over here, the mouse and the pointers will be in time with you speaking. And you can also sync up your camera afterwards, but I wouldn't recommend using your built-in camera on your laptop. It's not normally as good as an external camera like the one I'm using now. But we're going to be looking at cameras and lighting later on. But the next lecture, we're going to be looking at a digital audio workstation. So this is basically how you can clean up the audio and record your microphone into your computer then make it sound even better. Then after this, we're going to be looking at screen capture software. So how you can record the screen and the microphone at the same time. Then after that, we're going to be looking at recording and editing video. So thank you for watching this lecture. I hope I've given you a quick overview of how microphones actually work and how you can actually record audio into them straight into your computer via a preamp and an audio interface. If you do want to know more about this, I recommend checking out my complete course. It's all about video and audio production, where I go into a lot more detail. If you are interested in this more in-depth course where I cover a lot more topics and a lot more detail, then make sure you check out the link in the description. But yeah, let's carry on, and I'll see you in the next lecture where we're going to be looking at a digital audio workstation. Hello, in this lecture, we're going to be looking at editing a voiceover audio in a digital audio workstation. So I believe it's important to edit your audio in post-production as well as pre-production to get the highest quality audio you can. So the way I like to do this is I go through a preamp, then I affect the audio the best I can through there. Then I go into an audio interface and then into the computer where I record this. And then I add on some effects in the computer just to make it sound even better. And then I save these effects as a preset. Then every time I put in some audio, I can just bang the preset on and it sounds good. I don't really go in and edit anything in the audio afterwards, just because it takes up so much time, and I do like to put out a lot of videos. I'd rather have a video that sounds very good than a video that's perfect and takes me 10 times longer to do. So even if I make any mouth sounds or maybe a cough, I'll leave it in. If anything, it makes you sound more natural. The audience member or the person watching you will realize you're just a person like them. You're no one special, but you can still create very high quality audio quickly in a technique I show you in this video. So this is a recording of one of the videos. Like there, I stumbled over the word video, but if you want to create a lot of videos, I do recommend just having no script and talking. You'll sound a lot more natural and honest when you speak. And also it takes you a lot less time. So this course is for anyone who wants to create high quality audio and video as a one-man or one-woman team. In this room right now, there's no one else in here. It's just me recording for a microphone and some equipment. That's all it is. Some camera equipment, lighting equipment. I've got a few different controllers and modules because I do music production as well. But there's no lighting man, there's no sound guy, there's no camera crew, there's no director, there's no producer. It's me doing it all. So I need to make sure what I record works well and efficiently, and I can just put these videos out. You could spend tens of hours recording a 1 hour video, or you could spend just maybe 2 hours recording a 1 hour video. As long as you record it beforehand and set up the microphone and the camera and the lighting so you get a really good quality video, I don't think it really matters if you make a few stumbles and mistakes, because a lot of the time people will watch your videos not because what you've got is the most genius thing ever. It's because they like your personality. They get on with you. They might resonate with you. They might be someone that's quite similar to you. I know a lot of people who watch my videos are quite similar to me. They're into the same kind of tech, the same kind of gear, the same kind of equipment. They're generally about the same age as me, and they just like the way I present, the honesty that I believe I put out there. And if you're going through and you're fine-tuning everything and you've got a checklist and a teleprompter, it's kind of too corporate. It's kind of too boring. I just think videos where you're kind of exciting and just on the fly creating content about something you're passionate and knowledgeable about. Don't forget you have to be passionate and knowledgeable about it, or the video will be rubbish. Then people will engage with you and will like your videos. But anyway, going back to the digital audio workstation, the one I'm using now is called Logic Pro 10. There are other ones you can edit audio, like Adobe Audition, Camtasia, ScreenFlow, you can edit audio as well. We're going to look at that later on. GarageBand, if you want to do it on the fly, on the cheap, maybe try GarageBand, but I really like Logic Pro. It's just what I've been using for a lot of years. Logic Pro 10 now. When I first started using it, it was Logic Pro 7 about 10 years ago. I'm just used to it. It's what I've been brought up doing in my own music productions, and I can easily just translate this to editing voiceovers and audio because it's quite similar really. And I've got a few different presets and plugins that I use which really suit my voice, I think suit my voice really well. So the first one I use is something called the NS1. This is a noise suppressor. And it's similar to the noise suppressor that I've got on my preamp, but I think this Waves one is a lot better. This little plugin, this little digital thing here, costs about the same as this physical box I've got. So it's not that cheap. It's about $150 to $200 for this, which is quite a lot. All the other ones I'm going to show you can pretty much get with the software. And this little plugin is about the same price as the software. But if you want to take this seriously, if you want to have good quality audio, you can quickly throw out there. It saves so much time and it makes your voice sound so much better. So I'm going to play this without the NS1 and with the NS1. Maybe turn this up, maybe put some headphones on and just see and hear if you can tell the difference. So this is without the NS1 and 7B. This one's great for voiceovers and radio as well. You do get lav mics, the little clip-on mics. So you can hear that hum and hissing sound if you've got it turned up quite loud, if you've got headphones on. And now I'm going to turn on this plugin. Ready for this? Just think it suits my voice. Another popular one is the Shure SM7B. This one's great for voiceovers and radio as well. You do get lav, and all you got to do is turn this dial up. Just turn it up until it sounds good. If it starts ruining the quality of your voice, turn it down. Just go through. Mics, the little clip-on mics, they're pretty good, but these sound a lot better. These are a lot easier to plug. It's so easy to do. It just makes your voice sound great. Plug into external effects, then the lav kind of wireless mics. You can get that Rode shotgun. Okay, so that's the one I put on every single voiceover. It just really works on my voice. I'm sure it will probably work with your voice too. The next thing I do is I put on the channel EQ, which basically I just roll off the low rumbles so I can hit this analyzer button, the mic that everyone seems to have on top of a DSLR, which is these waves, these wiggles here is the frequency of my voice. I don't speak that low. This is just low rumbles, weird background sound. Get rid of that. The same with the high. This is not my voice. It's okay if you're out and about and you want to create, so I'll roll it off. I don't want anything that isn't my voice when I'm doing a voiceover. And I boost the high mid a little bit just to make my voice slightly brighter. Then I add on a de-esser. This is by Waves. There is a de-esser on Logic, which is pretty similar. This just gets rid of the sibilance. I do have a de-esser on my preamp that I use before I go to this digital audio workstation. But I really hate any kind of voiceover where there's a harsh sibilant sound all the time. It sounds horrible. So I make sure I get rid of those really harsh S's. I've actually got two de-essers. This is what I like. I've been experimenting with voiceovers for a while. I like to do this. And then I have a compressor. I am using a compressor beforehand as well. I do recommend doing this. Don't just rely on your digital audio workstation. Try and get the best possible signal you can before you go to the digital audio workstation. But the compressor, it has a limiter as well, which stops it getting too loud. So if I talk really loud, it's not going to distort. If I didn't have a compressor on, it might be distorting or clipping. And if I talk quiet, it make it a bit louder. So you see here, it's just a tiny bit of compression. Just if I talk really loud, it will just turn it down a little bit, and that's basically it. On top of a DSLR, which is okay if you're out and about and you want to create a vlog. So you're walking around, there's no wire. That's all it really does on this. And that's it. On the master channel, I have a limiter, which is kind of like a compressor, but just the top end. So it just stops it going too loud. So if the volume's popping up, it just won't let it go too loud. You can turn it down with this dial output level so it doesn't get too loud. Anything above 0 can distort. This is on minus 0.2, so just slightly under what could distort. Then you can put gain to boost it a bit louder. That's good if you just want. So this is the input, this is what's going in, and the output's what's coming out. And the reduction is anything that's limited. Just want a quick mic to bang on top of your camera. But if you want to produce something that's, so I've got a nice healthy level here. It's not really being compressed or limited too much. So these are the settings I like. And what you can do on Logic Pro 10, which is really great, you can go and save channel strip setting as. So when you find a good room to record and you've got a good microphone, you've got a good setup, you've found the plugins you like, save channel strip setting as. And every time you can just find here, preamp post. This is it. And same with the master channel. Preamp post master. And that's it. I just drag it on and I bounce it, I export it. You just go to File, Bounce, Project or Section. Then you choose PCM, have it as a wave, hit OK. Make sure you use these little orange bars to bounce what you want. And that's it. That's how you bounce in Logic Pro, and that's how you get good quality audio you can have in your own studio space, in your own house, anywhere really. And what I like to do is make sure I record all my tutorials in the same place so I know what settings I've got. I write all my settings down as well, just in case the computer doesn't save them for some reason. Then you can have high quality audio whenever you want. You don't need to go in and edit every little mistake, as long as you're confident when you speak and the content in there. Yeah, if the content's there, you're confident in what you speak, you can just make videos. Like if I'm talking about something that's useless or rubbish or not funny or boring, it doesn't matter what this audio sounds like. It doesn't matter what this camera looks like. Make sure you know what you're on about. You're experienced in what you're talking about, or it's really funny and entertaining that people will laugh and enjoy watching it. So you need to think, am I funny? Am I entertaining? Am I knowledgeable at something? And then create a video and create high quality audio around that. So thank you for watching this lecture. It was all about digital audio workstations, but more importantly, how I process mine and how you should process your own audio. Your voice will not be the same as mine. What I'm doing here, maybe start out as a template, then fine tune and tweak until it suits your voice. If you're a woman with a really high pitched voice or a man with a really low voice or vice versa, it's probably not going to sound right. My voice is kind of unique to me. There are people that sound like me, but this what works for me. Explore, experiment, take this knowledge I've just told you, experiment with it, maybe add new things, maybe compress a bit more, turn up the de-esser, roll off more of the high, roll off more of the low, and experiment until you find something you like, and then save it as a preset, and then bang it on all your videos, all your audio recordings, as long as you're recording in the same place and you don't speak really loud or really quiet for certain ones. So thank you for watching this lecture. I hope you found it useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, now we're going to be looking at cameras and lighting. If you want to create a decent looking video, you really need a decent camera and a decent lens. It might cost a fair bit of money, but if you want to take this seriously, you need to be as good or better than the competition. And they're using decent cameras, so you really need to step up your game. You can make videos on iPhones, and of course, content is king. Content is the most important thing, but having good quality video and audio is also very important. The camera I'm recording on right now is a Canon 70D. The main reason I use this camera is because it's got a little flip screen at the side so I can see myself when I'm recording. Because all of this is just me. There's no one else in here. The whole reason I wanted to create this course is to help anyone that is a one-man or one-woman team record great quality audio, great video, and put it all together in one package just as them. There's no one else here. There's no crew. There's no team member. There's no director. It's me doing it all. So I want to make sure I can see what I'm doing. You might see my eyes just dot to the side every now and again because I'm just checking to see if I'm in frame. I'm just checking it's still recording, because it is really, really bad when you make a really good video, do it all in one take. Oh yeah, that was awesome. And then you go to the camera and it's either the SD card's full, it hasn't recorded, or you're out of shot, or it's blurry, you haven't put it in focus, which can happen from time to time. And the other reason I use this camera is because it's got a really good face tracker on it. So I can move around, look, and I'm in focus. So obviously I'm not going to move around too much because my microphone is here. But if I do want to move around a little bit, I come forward. I'm quite expressive when I talk. I use my hands a lot. I move around. I'm always going to be in focus. If this was on manual mode, it'd be out of focus. It'd be blurry. And of course, manual focus is better than autofocus if you have a camera person with you. If they're filming it with you, they can put in manual focus. They can create some cool effects. But it's just me in here. I just want something I can turn on, hit record the mic, boom, bang it in editing software, put the video out, and it's going to look good and it's going to sound good. And to do all this by yourself, you just want it to be easy, stress-free, and just work. So this is why I use this camera. I also use a 30mm lens. So the millimeter is kind of the size of the lens. So if you want to be really zoomed out, you could use like a 10mm. Really zoomed in, you could use like a 50mm. And of course, you can get cameras with zooms, but I prefer prime lenses, which are ones without zooms, because I do think they're slightly better quality. I use a Sigma 1.4. 1.4 basically means I can blur out this green screen because it's not in focus. So it's easier for the chroma key, it's easier to get a good quality green screen. And I do think Sigma makes some really good lenses. It's up to you. Ideally, you want to get an STM lens, which is a silent lens. So when it goes in and out of focus, you can't hear the camera. This one is not a silent lens, but this mic's all the way over there. It's pretty far away. So I can get away with a little bit of lens sound. If I was using one of those Rode mics, you see everyone on top of the camera, I was doing like a day in the life vlog with my Rode mic, it'll pick up the mechanic sounds or the mechanical sounds on top of the camera from the lens. But for these kind of videos, these kind of screencasts I do a lot of the time, these kind of monologue talks, these lectures, it can be a bit noisy. It's not going to pick it up. This is a dynamic microphone. It's not an omnidirectional microphone. It doesn't pick up the whole room, which an omnidirectional microphone does. Some lav mics, the clip-on mics, they pick up the entire room. So if someone's making a sound outside your studio space or your room, it's going to pick it up. But this mic, if an aeroplane flies past or there's noise outside, it might pick it up a little bit, but nowhere near as much as an omnidirectional microphone. Okay, and so the lighting, this took me so long to get right. My lighting used to be awful, shadows all down my face. I spent like half an hour setting up the lighting. This lighting is around my camera, and I just turn it on, and that's it. I don't do anything else. I turn it on and look at the shadows. It's pretty good. It's pretty darn good. And this is the Diva ring light, the Supernova model. So it's the one all the beauty girls use for the YouTube makeup videos. So if you want to do makeup videos, this is a good one. But I just like it because it's a ring light, so it gives even light. You do get the little circles in your eyes, you might see, but I'm quite far away, and most of the time I'm just in the corner of the screen. So I don't think the little circles in my eyes are really going to be that noticeable. This was quite expensive. It was about $250, and I did have to get it imported from the USA. I do live in the UK, and you can't buy this in the UK. When I tried to buy it, you couldn't even buy it in Europe. So I had to get it imported. I had to have a transformer, like a adapter for the plug. But it's great. It's worth every single penny. Before, I was just using some cheap £10 lights, and they weren't very good. If you're just starting out, maybe start with the cheap lights just to see if you get a feel for videos. If you don't like videos, if you don't like talking into a camera, I wouldn't recommend spending a lot of money on a camera lens and lights. But if you want to take this seriously, I definitely recommend getting a decent camera that has good face tracker and decent lighting. Lighting is so important. If anything, I think it might be more important than the actual video quality. I think the lighting is more important. There's nothing worse than seeing a video, shadows all down the face. It just looks really sloppy. You want a nice, like crisp, high quality image to really just make you look professional. If the video looks good and professional, it'll make you look professional, and people will take you seriously. They'll see you as a figure of authority if it looks high quality. If it's a sloppy little iPhone video and it's all shaking around and the lighting's all terrible, you're going to be perceived as an amateur. You're not going to be perceived as a professional. It's up to you. Do you want to be perceived as an amateur or professional? If you just want to do silly little videos of you going on roller coasters, sure, use your iPhone. But if you want to be taken seriously and you want to make good quality videos, I definitely recommend investing time, effort, energy, and money into your equipment. So thank you for watching this lecture. It's all about cameras, lenses, and lights. Just a quick overview, really, just so you can really know the main key points about filming videos. And don't forget, your audio is super important too. Okay, now I'm going to talk to you about backdrop. So a backdrop or background is basically what's behind you in the video. So right now I'm using a green screen. The reason I'm using a green screen is because I create a lot of tutorials online and I want to be able to cut myself out. You don't want this big square in the corner. You see some tutorials, this huge rectangle or square in the corner, and it just takes up too much space. If you're trying to use the screen, you want to take up less screen as possible. I used to start off just using my voice, but I think it's a bit more interesting to watch if there's a person there also. I can be quite expressive with my hands to make the video a bit more exciting, because some of these software videos can be a bit boring to watch sometimes. So if someone's having a lot more energy, enthusiasm, the way they're talking and their body language, it makes the video a bit more interesting. But if you're not doing a screencast, you're not doing an online tutorial, a tutorial where you need the screen, maybe have something a bit more exciting in the background. You could have your office space with your books or your computer or photos on the frame. Or you could have outdoors. You could have a mountain in the background, a river, a waterfall, a dog. A lot of YouTubers have dogs, which can make the video a bit more exciting. It depends what you want to do. If you want an entertaining video, I definitely recommend having something a bit more exciting in the background. But with a green screen, you can do this, and this, and this. So you can put in some backdrops or backgrounds if you want. You don't have to just use a stock color. The background I'm using right now is from Envato. I just bought it for $5. I can use it in all my videos. So I'm not worried about someone ringing me up and saying, that's my image in the background, because I bought the images. So it's really useful. You can create your own on, say, Photoshop, that kind of thing. But it is important to just realize, what are your videos going to be about? Who is your audience? So screen capture tutorials, screencasts, you want a green screen. Green screens are really cheap. They're like £30 or $30. They're not expensive at all. Just find a space on your wall, pin it up with some cloth pins, bum, 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 with a hammer, and that's about it. For a backdrop, you could just find an interesting area in your house or your studio space. So if you're doing music, you can have your keyboards in the background, your guitars. If you're in your house, you could have the pictures on your wall. Just anything really to make it a bit more interesting. Of course, if you're outdoor, like I said, you could use a mountain, a scenery, a river, but then you're relying on sunlight, which you don't really want to do. You could take lights with you, but it just becomes more hassle. The whole point of this course is to just get you up and running. If you're a one-man or one-woman team, you don't want to be lugging your lights around. You don't to set up every single time. You just want a nice area you can record. Turn the lights on, record the mic, record the camera. There you go. That's all you really want. You don't want too much hassle, because if you have too much hassle, it's going to stress you out. You won't be present in the moment. And then when you speak, you'll be paranoid about the lighting. You'll be paranoid about the audio. You'll be paranoid about the camera. It's one thing having to check to see if the camera's recording all the time. I've got the audio waves in front of me on the screen to check that the audio is recording. I can see the lights on this amplifier. I can see the lighting on my face on the screen. Imagine having to set up as well as doing all this, and you're talking, you're the presenter, you're the content creator, and you're the editor. A lot of the time, you're the marketer too. It's just more stuff to do. So I'd just say keep it as simple as possible, keep it consistent. Your viewers will like it if you're consistent. It'd be your personality, you put your image and your kind of videos. That's what you want. You want your videos with your image. And just different backgrounds all the time. Sure, it could be fun, but would you rather have 2 videos or 200 videos? If the image is pretty similar, but the background's different, content is the most important thing. So what I would say is realize who your audience are, realize what kind of background they would want. If it's a screencast, a screen tutorial, you want a green screen. If it's an outdoor video, obviously, you want outdoors. If it's a dancing video, you want a dance studio. If it's a video about playing guitars, maybe have some guitars in the background, maybe have your amplifier, that kind of thing. But don't stress too much about background. Content is the most important thing. And then the lighting and audio and camera work, and then background. It can help, but I wouldn't say it's essential. And also, if you use a green screen, you can do crazy stuff like this. Anyway, enough of that. Thank you for watching this lecture. I hope you found it useful, and I'll see you soon. Hello, now we're going to be looking at ScreenFlow, which is screen capture software. If you want to create any tutorials or maybe video games, you really want to capture your screen, so you will need some kind of screen capture software. The one I like to use is called ScreenFlow. It is Mac only, but you can get stuff like Camtasia if you do want to record your screen and you're using a PC. The reason I like ScreenFlow, it allows you to record more than just the screen. You can record the computer's audio. So if I'm making a music production tutorial, for instance, I can record the audio from my keyboard or any kind of synths inside the computer, which is really useful. It can also record your microphone. So the microphone I'm using right now is being recorded via ScreenFlow. And you can use the webcam or the camera on your MacBook or your computer, you can also plug in a USB camera and use that. So ScreenFlow is really powerful. It just allows you to quickly throw videos together. So let's go inside ScreenFlow right now. And this is a lecture from my complete audio and video editing course. It's all about thumbnails, about canva.com. So if you want to check out my complete course, make sure you have a look at the bonus section or in the description. And you can get access to this course for only $10 instead of the full price, which is over $100. And yeah, this is just a video really where I tell you about all the different thumbnails. You can quickly throw them together for your YouTube videos. So ScreenFlow here, you'll notice I've got a zoom. You can just quickly put zooms in. All you have to do is just select what you want to zoom, hit this mouse button, hit actions, and then you can just choose what type of zoom you want. It's really, really easy. You can change the audio volume by hitting this button here, up and down, the mix output, loads of different effects. You can add text. And it's just so simple to use. It really, really is so simple. And then 720. So you'll notice here, it's just coming out of one channel. You can just change, the audio mix. Hit this button. That's coming out the middle on pixels. And just hit, you can change the volume, make it quieter. Design. Make it louder. It's upload. So upload. Really, really simple to use. I'm not going to go into every detail about this, just because I could do an entire course all about ScreenFlow. But I just want to show you the options and capabilities it can give you. Just quickly put zooms in. It just makes your stuff look professional. So you can just add in a zoom here. Put that. So you could go through, go and upload. So upload my zoom in picture. So if you're looking at a mouse button or some kind of button or something on the screen, type in, you want to zoom in, you can quickly put zooms. There's also a chroma key. So if you're recording yourself with a green screen, which I currently am now, green screens are fantastic for any kind of screen capture or screen tutorial because you don't want a box there. Because most of this stuff, I'm not even going to be using. I'm just going to be around here, majority. I might move my hands around a little bit. But with a green screen, you can basically cut yourself out and stick yourself in the corner like I'm doing right now. So I can still move my hands around, move about whilst I'm talking and not taking up too much space. In ScreenFlow, there's something called a chroma key. It's the video effect that you have to add if you want to cut yourself out. There is a much better one in Final Cut Pro, which we will be looking at later on. Final Cut Pro 10 or Final Cut Pro X is the one that I use. It's really simple and easy to use, and I'm going to show you that also really, really soon. But ScreenFlow, I personally think is fantastic for recording screens and for editing videos like this one here, the camera. From a DSLR, I prefer Final Cut Pro 10. But I like to use them both. I edit the screen in ScreenFlow, then I export this into Final Cut Pro 10. Then I edit this DSLR camera, the chroma key, and I add this to the screen and I add the backdrop because this is green normally, but this backdrop is kind of a greeny blue. I use that color just in case any of the green seeps through. It's not too obvious. So if it was black or white, you might be able to see a tiny bit of green tint. But if this backdrop is kind of a greeny blue color, it will stop that really going through. But this is ScreenFlow. This is what I like to use. If you don't have a Mac, maybe have a look at Camtasia. But I don't recommend using this for the chroma key and for recording your DSLRs. I recommend using Final Cut Pro 10, which we're going to look at in the next lecture. Okay, now we're going to be looking at Final Cut Pro 10 video editing software. I personally think this video editing software is great for combining with a screencast or screen tutorial. So this video here that I'm on is being filmed on a DSLR camera. I've got a green screen behind me. And then I need to cut this out and add this to my screencast if you want to have a professional looking video. The way I do this is in Final Cut Pro. Similar to audio editing, I go through, spend a while finding the best image editing I can, or video editing, then I save it as a preset. I just drag this on. That's all I do. And then I just export it. It makes it look really great and professional, and it's so easy to do. By the way, I do not have any course called How to Dance. I was just doing an example of making a thumbnail for YouTube. So don't look for a course called How to Dance by me. It would be a really bad course because my dancing is pretty bad. But anyway, so this is Final Cut Pro. This is my event, my project over here. you can see I've got the green screen and I've cut it out with a chroma key. What you can do, which is the best thing by a mile, in my opinion, about Final Cut Pro 10, is you can sync the video with the audio. So I'm recording this microphone currently in ScreenFlow, and I'm recording this camera separately into one of these, to an SD card, with a DSLR camera. It's nothing to do with the computer, it's not plugged in, but a Final Cut Pro, I can drag this information, this video file from the SD card, and I can also drag over the audio from ScreenFlow, and then I can just sync it together. All you have to do is hold down Apple or the command button, right click and sync, and that will synchronize and put it in time. I like to start every video with a clap. That way, just in case the sync doesn't work, or if I'm editing the video in another piece of software like ScreenFlow, for instance, which doesn't have a sync function, I can find the clap visually and I can hear the clap. So I've got a backup of this visual clap. You can see where that hits. There's going to be a sound you can hear. There's a peak. You can just see on the wave there's a big boof, a big bump, big jump where I clap. But yeah, the sync function is so useful. It saves so much time. So I sync this, I drag this over. Then after I've dragged it over, I have to actually apply, here I am. So whatever's on top will kind of trump whatever's below. So as this is on top, this will trump below. You might think below, why is this all as one? This is because I created a compound clip, which is where you can stick all the clips together so it's easy to manage. So all you have to do to compound is right click, new compound clip. That's it. It's really simple. It's really easy. And that's what a compound clip is. Okay, so you can see me here preparing for the video, mentally preparing. And then, boom, I do a clap. But I don't need to sync it up in Final Cut Pro. It's already synced. The audio is synced with the video. So useful. Anyhow, it looks really bad with the green screen. You don't want this. I haven't even ironed it. The main reason I haven't is because I don't need to. The screen editing software that I use is just so good. I mean, the Final Cut Pro chroma key is so good that I don't need to chop it out. I don't need to iron the screen. But here, can you see any creases? Nope. None. But on here you can. You can use a steamer. You can, I think you have to put like a cloth and iron it. My green screen is huge. It's 6 meters. It goes all the way around this room. It's massive, 6 meters by 3 meters. Just so I have the option to move around wherever I want. I can change the camera in this green screen. Pretty much like half of this room is a green screen almost. But I don't need to iron it. The chroma key is that good. So let me show you how you can actually use this chroma key. So what you have to do is find the keyer effect. So go down till you find keying, and then keyer, drag it over. And then that's pretty much it. Just go through and tweak some of this. You can change strength, stuff like the holes. But I just went through, I pretty much just tweaked all of this till I found something that I was happy with. And that's about it. It's not that technical. It's not that difficult. It's just, obviously, if you cut it too much, it looks awful. My hair's been chopped out. You just got to find a good balance of what you think is right. So shrink and expand if you want less or more. And then once you find something you like, just hit Save Effects Preset. You can save it. You can also save the cropping, that kind of thing too. It's such a good chroma key effect in Final Cut Pro. Look at that. Oh, straight away, it's great. Then you can just resize this. Just got to find a transform. There I am. And then just put yourself over there. That's it. Really easy in this really lecture. Effectively. It's a bit strange seeing 2 of myself. You're probably actually seeing 3 of me. 4 of me, including this photo. But that is how you can basically use Final Cut Pro to edit your green screens out and just edit your videos. The other stuff is really simple. It's like B for blade, chop it. A just for normal, and it's just drag and drop. If you're used to any kind of editing software, like video or any audio editing software like Logic Pro, that kind of thing. You'll pick this up so fast. It's really, really just self-explanatory. It's just hit some of the buttons and just see what they do. That's all I did to learn this. I picked it up in about a day, maybe less. Transitions, if you want to put any transitions in there. It's so, so simple. And like any other application in Mac, if you make a mistake, oh, I've made a mistake, just hit Command Z. There you go. You can always do redo as well. So you can just do Shift, Command Z. So just go through. It's not like we're recording on tape. You can imagine like 30, 40 years ago, if you're doing this kind of thing, for a start, it wouldn't look anywhere near as good as this, even with a huge budget. You'd have to cut the tape physically, stick it together and affect the tape. I don't know how you do it on tape. It's not something I'm really interested in. I prefer the more cutting edge software and applications. But if you were to do it on tape, it would, even doing this would be super difficult. And now it's just a few buttons. Final Cut Pro, I do go into a lot more detail in my complete course. And I do have a step-by-step guide. I'll actually show you how I edit this video in real time. And I'll tell you exactly what's going on if you are interested in that. But this is just a quick overview of how you can use Final Cut Pro. But the main features I like about Final Cut Pro, which are worth every single penny of this application, which is $199, is syncing the audio with the video and the chroma key. Those two things worth the price. All the rest of the stuff like chopping up and editing in colors and texts and effects and objects are good, but the chroma key and the sync are worth infinitely more. So thank you for watching this lecture. It's just about Final Cut Pro, a really easy to use, powerful application for you to edit videos today. It's cheap, it's effective, it's affordable, and it's just such a good application that I definitely recommend getting if you're a Mac user. If you're a PC user, maybe Adobe Audition. I'm a Mac user. I like using Macs. I think they're just really easy to use. And if you break one, you can just get another one at the Apple Store. They're exactly the same. A lot of people have suggested that I build a custom-made PC. You can get exactly how you want. You can set it up exactly how you want, all the different things and all that. But I'm like, if I get a custom-made PC and it breaks, it's going to be really hard to repair. And I can't get another one exactly the same. It's custom-made. It means there's only one of them. If you get a Mac or a MacBook or an iMac or a Mac Pro, there's millions of them. Or hundreds of thousands of them. If one of them breaks, sure, it sucks that it breaks, but you can just get another one. As long as you've got everything backed up, which I recommend, back up everything, back up your backups, so you have so many different backups. As long as it's backed up and it breaks, it's not the end of the world. It's terrible that it's broken, but you can just get another one exactly the same a day later down the Apple Store. If you have your custom-made PC and it breaks, it's going to take you a long time to get that built exactly the same. That's the thing about PC and Macs. PCs are great because you can put exactly what you want. You can update it, you can upgrade it, you can change it around, but they're bad because there's so many different varieties of PCs and there's only a few Macs. But that's just my opinion. If you love PCs, go use a PC. But thank you for watching this lecture and I'll see you in the next one.